Well, hey there YouTube, petey two-finger showing off my breadboard contraption. I garbage picked this thing at something they call Amnesty Day in our rich-ass neighboring town. I don't live in a rich neighborhood. We live in a two-bedroom apartment. But we're fortunate enough to live in an area around a lot of well-to-do. Actually, we're not too far away from Burr Ridge, which is the wealthiest town in the nation per capita. So it's great area if you want to pay a lot of taxes, if you're a property owner. But if you're like me and you're a leech on the ass of society, it's also great for resale shopping and going to Goodwill. That's like worked out good for me on that. So, and garbage picking, of course. So this is the HeathKit Electronic Design Experimenter. It's got a breadboard. There's a couple of built-in pots. There's a bipolar DC power supply. Looks like there's also AC, 15 volt AC power supply, which I'm not going to be playing around with that. I'll maybe hook some wires up to that and ask my wife to hold those later. And then there's a function generator. So what I did was install 2 1/4-inch jacks back here, and I ran those leads up to these pots internally. So now I can just plug my, that's the thing, I mean, I realize that a person who would watch this video would want to make a comment like, why don't you just get a breadboard, or my breadboard is bigger than that, or something like that. I've got all sorts of breadboards here. This was in my closet for maybe 10 years, and I just thought I should get that thing out because it has a sine wave generator. It's not a square wave, and I'm partial to sine waves. I think that they're easier on the ear, and I spend a lot of time, believe it or not, I spend a lot of time hearing this frequency. I'm sure everyone, including my wife, is very well familiar with this. RG Keen's quick and dirty test oscillator. Thank you to Mr. Keen. But yeah, this has an adjuster on it so I can adjust the frequencies, and it's also sine wave, which is a little bit more pleasant to the ear for my taste. So what I did here today, I had ordered some UA 741. I'm a big fan of the DOT 250, and I know that there are cleaner op amps out there, and that it's an old op amp and it's horrible and everyone hates it. I really like it. I love that pedal. I put some diodes in it, blah blah blah. That's my favorite build. So I'm playing around with LM741 based, or in this case UA 741 based dirt boxes. So I put together a basic chip based fuzz with a couple of clipping diodes, and then kind of moved some stuff around. They had the diodes in the feedback loop, and I put them on the output, and then I ran a jumper from pin 1, which is like no connection, you're not supposed to connect anything to it, and started connecting that to various points in the circuit, and found that connecting pin 1 to pin 6 made it oscillate. So then I ran that through a 1M resistor, quite a high value resistor, to try to tame that oscillation a bit. And then I tied the signal generator into the output of the unit and tuned the signal generator to the same frequency 2 octaves below what the fuzz circuit would oscillate at when the power supply was turned to the maximum of 15 volts. I ran that through my practice amp with a slight quiet, kind of a longish delay. That's a PT 2399 with the clock has just been beaten into submission to make it go past 700 milliseconds. It's kind of quiet, kind of a dirty delay, but that's what you heard. I turned the unit on. We have our test tone oscillator. There's our test tone oscillator. Tuned that to a G, basically, because that was the note that our fuzz circuit decided to peak out at when it finishes raising itself to the peak of its oscillation. It settled on a G, which was just random of how this circuit is running right now. That also depends on the supply voltage. like right now I will disconnect the oscillator, so we're only hearing the fuzz circuit. And you can, like right now I'm changing the pitch of the oscillation with the volume knob on the instrument. So kind of a real messy trick. Like pretty much I don't think I would build that into a pedal because it's such a one-trick pony and it's so annoying and nasty. But it does do one cool thing, which I'll demonstrate this on its own. When it's like pretty much the signal coming out of the guitar is fighting. It's arm wrestling with the oscillation that's occurring in the circuit. Who's going to be boss? Well, when you pluck a note, of course the guitar takes over and that's what's running through the circuit. But eventually that signal starts to fade, it starts to die, and then the oscillation that's occurring inside our fuzz circuit takes over. Now when that happens, there's an interesting artifact, like a cross oscillation that occurs. It's almost like a double stop through a ring mod. Just kind of an interesting little thing that happens, and that's what I was attempting to feature in the demo. You have to wait till it reaches its peak, and it takes a while. So while we're waiting, what's new? How you been? So yeah, it's that thing that happens in there that inspired me to kind of put that together and throw this down on tape for you guys. So thank you for joining me. This was the HeathKit electronic design experimenter. I'm going to be using this as a breadboard. I mean, I've got I've got my first fuzz that I designed on my big main breadboard that I kind of added some nice little features to that too, but nothing as cool as this. It's got the frequency generator built into it, power supplies built in. Now it's got 1/4-inch jacks. My only complaint is the size of the board. It's a little bit small. And you know, I broke down and ordered some of these leads from eBay. They've got these leads that have nice little guys on them, and I used those today, and boy, I'll tell you, I really like these. I really do. If I could get maybe some smaller ones, but yeah, I think I'm going to be using this at least until I run out of room on there. I mean, I don't know how big of a project I'm going to be able to squeeze. I'm thinking about going through the Brian Wampler mods that he did to the MXR Distortion Plus, which is basically a DOD 250 or a Ross distortion, and then the comments that were made on Tagboard Effects, the comments that were made on DIY forum, and then free stomp boxes, and kind of making an amalgam of those different opinions on there. And like, you know, everyone says the 1N34As are no good, the germanium diodes, going with the 1N270s dioid. I'm saying dioid now. I'm just gonna say that dioid. So special thanks to Pink Jimmy Photon as always, and a big warm fuzzy hug goes out to Dino, Mr. Digituti. I've been watching a lot of his videos lately, so thanks for joining me, you guys. Peace, and keep on hacking.